Okay. All right, so we're gonna do a little bit of pre-Pilates work to start the mat work today. This is a great sequence of exercises that you can do whether you're injured, you're preventing injury, you're coming back postpartum. These are great things to do. This is a great thing to do just if you are a super healthy, vibrant person before you get started with your Pilates session. So it might be something that's your go-to as the only thing you do that day, maybe just as a gentle session, low back care. It's great for all those things, but it also could just be the beginning of your session that you just use this work to warm yourself into getting ready for Pilates. That's why it's called pre-Pilates. So all this work was coined by Eve Gentry, who was one of Joseph Pilates' elders. She is one of our elders, so she was one of his students. So she's a first generation teacher. So we're gonna go ahead and lie down on your mat, on your back. I have a towel because I figure that whether you're traveling or you're at home, that's a prop that you can use, right? So if you need to have a towel for anything, this is always an easy, quick prop that you can use. All right, so lying down on your back, just take a moment to stretch everything out. We'll extend the arms, extend the legs, and just breathe into your back body and let everything go. Take the arms long by your side. Hug your inner thighs together. So how we usually start, pressing the back of your legs into the mat, finding your thighs, right? That's right where your thighs and your booty meet, and then pressing your arms into the mat. Now as you breathe into your back body, I want you to try to see how many of your ribs you can connect to the mat in the back. And let everything go. In fact, let's do this a little bit differently. So you can have bent knees if you like. I want you to start with belly breathing. So hands right on your belly button. Take a big breath in, inflate your belly, and then exhale, feel it all go out. So this is how we generally breathe naturally. Breathe into your belly, feel it rise, and then exhale, feel it fall as all the air goes out. All right, take a couple more breaths like this. This is great, nice diaphragmatic breathing to do to help yourself relax and focus. But what tends to happen to most of us is that we just breathe into our chest, and it's a very shallow breath. So with the Pilates breath, we want to not only fill your chest, but fill your entire lung capacity and rib cage, right? So now bring your hands to your ribs. Instead of letting your belly expand, you're going to breathe laterally, so side to side and posteriorly to the back. So take a big breath in, inflate your lungs and your ribs, feel them expand, and then exhale, let all the air out until you really feel the depth of your abdominals at the bottom of that breath. So again, breathing in not to inflate your belly, but to inflate your lungs and ribs. Exhale, all the air out, squeeze it from your spine, and really feel your abdominals contract at the end. Good, take 2 more breaths like that. Breathe into your lungs and ribs. It's a little strange if you're not used to it. Exhale, contract. One more time, take a deep breath into the back and sides of your body. This way you can be functional and move through all of your Pilates work and your work in life, keeping your abdominals engaged, but using your full breath capacity. All right, so once we've got the breathing down, we get those back ribs and lungs really going. Now let's talk about your pelvis. So finding a neutral pelvis is really important in Pilates. Just bear with me here. You're gonna take a marble and put it in your belly button, in your mind, of course. All right, so marble is in the belly button. Use the weight of that marble to roll the marble up towards your rib cage and then back to your belly button and relax. So this is really subtle. I'm just gonna lift up so you can possibly see. You may not be able to really see me move, but if the marble starts in my belly button, I'm gonna press the small of my back towards the mat to roll the marble up and then let it relax back into my belly button. And then roll the marble up to my ribs and let it roll back to my navel. One more time, roll it up to the ribs, pressing the small of your back into the mat and back to your navel. Now go in the other direction. So I'm gonna tip it down towards my pubic bone and back to my navel. And roll the marble out and down towards your pubic bone and back to your navel. And again, rock it down neutral. One more time. Tip it towards your tail and back to neutral. Now go back and forth. So we roll the marble up towards your ribs and then roll it down towards your tail. And up to your ribs and down to your tail. You're just massaging your sacrum, that flat triangular bone in your lower back right above your tailbone. Okay, so our neutral spine is when the marble is sitting in your belly button. You're neither tucked nor arched. You are just neutral, right? Now let's take the marble and roll it from one hip to the other. So we're gonna lift one hip point slightly and then roll the marble across your pelvis, lift the other hip point slightly. I always imagine like my hip points are kind of like flippers in a pinball game, and I'm gonna slow motion flip the pinball over to the other hip and then catch it and flip it back and flip. Or I think about my hips being like a puppet and the puppet strings are attached to my hip points, those little bony protrusions, right? And like the puppeteer is lifting one hip up at a time, right? So we're getting all kinds of motion in our lower back. Take your hands to your thigh bones now and we're gonna create some traction. So push your thighs away from you. Woo, I just adjusted my spine. So push those legs as hard as you can with your hands and then relax and let that go. Right? And again, you're gonna push your legs away from you, press out so that you feel some traction created in your lower back and release. One more time, we're pressing our thighs away from us. Push, push, push to create space in your lower back and back to center. All right, so now you should feel a little freer in that lumbar spine. We're gonna go for the clock face. So if you picture your pelvis like a clock face, pubic bone is 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock is your right hip, 6 o'clock is up towards your ribs, 9 o'clock is over to your left hip, right? So I'm gonna roll this marble around the clock face of my pelvis. And at first, I'm just gonna try to hit all those quarter marks, right? So 12, roll the marble to 3, roll it to 6, roll it over to 9. And then I try to hit every 5-minute increment in between. And then I try to hit every minute on the clock. So I'm just smoothing it out and drawing that deep internal circle and feeling an interesting massage in my lower back, getting everything moving. It's kind of hard to do and talk. You'll feel your feet doing some work, but I don't want your legs swinging around. And then try to reverse the direction of your circle. So I don't know which way you were going, but I was going clockwise. So now I'm gonna go counterclockwise. 3, 12, 9, 6. 3, 12, 9, and 6. And then I try to smooth it out a little bit more. And I'm exaggerating my movement so that you can see it a little bit. But really, it does not have to be big. It can be very subtle. And you're just using this to warm up through your lower back and your tail. Get some sacroiliac fluid going in your joints. Let that come to stillness. And then one more time, pushing your thighs away from you. So we're waking up our back body. We're getting our pelvis and our abdominals to start working for us. Press your arms into the mat. Now we do heel slides. So letting your right heel slide out along the mat all the way long. Use your exhale and your abdominals to contract and pull the foot back in. Slide it out again. If you don't have a surface that your foot slides on easily, you can put the towel underneath your foot, right? So like if you're on the carpeted floor, you could use a towel. That would probably work. A furniture slider would be really good. So I'm keeping my heel attached to the floor the whole time. Push it out and use your exhale to contract back in. And then using the left leg, extend it out. Exhale, glide it in. So I'm trying to use just my abdominals and my breath to move that leg. Slide it out and scoop deep and slide it in. One more time like that, slide it out and slide it back in. Now both legs together, slide out. I keep my marble in my belly button, exhale, slide back in. So I'm making sure that my spine stays neutral and that I'm not arching and tucking as I slide my legs in and out. Slide away, exhale, pull into your center. One more like that, slide out, pull back in. Now we'll make it reciprocal. So one in and one out. Keeping your heels connected to your floor, your mat surface is really important here. So if you can't actually dig your heels in and slide, you're gonna miss the exercise somewhat. So it's important to be able to glide. Good, now let's bring feet down, just plant them on the mat, tuck the tail, go into that place where you're rolling the marble up to your ribs, and then continue rolling it all the way up to your throat, coming into a shoulder bridge. Melt down through your spine, upper, middle, lower, and the tail. Okay, and again, start to turn on through your backside, your hamstrings and your thighs. Okay, lifting up, reach out through your knees, extend through the back of your neck, extend through your collarbones, and roll down through your spine, bone by bone. Good, let's bridge it up again. Articulate your spine on the way up. Lift. Feel how you have to stand in your upper back and your upper arms. And then exhale, roll back through one vertebra at a time. Okay, now this time we're gonna lift the hips up in one piece. So no articulating, just lift the shape up and then lower the whole shape down in one unit. Yeah, again, lift the whole shape up as one piece using your transverse abdominis and lower the whole shape down. So it's like a crease right across your hips. Lift the shape up. Open your chest and lower the shape right back down. Good, guys. Now we're gonna take the arms, drop them out to the sides. So you can just be in kind of a wide T with the arms. Let your knees reach to the right. Take your gaze to the left. So stay here, take a deep breath into your spine. Breathe into that spiral. Breathe into anywhere that you've got tight spots. And then use your exhale to contract rib cage, powerhouse, pelvis, and bring everything back to center. Let your knees drop left, take your gaze right. You may get some adjustments in your spine here. Lucky you if so. Big breath into the back and sides of the body. Exhale, rib cage, powerhouse, pelvis returns you to center. And we go knee drop right, contract center. And knee drop left, bring it center. One more each way, knee drop right, and knee drop left, and bring it back. Good. Let's do rib cage arms. So now, arms long by your side. Reach the arms up and back. As you reach them up and back, I want you to feel your back ribs staying connected to the mat. So you don't get to go all the way back to where your ribs want to arch off, right? And that probably means that your arms don't go all the way to the mat. And then press your arms all the way back down through the space. So we'll float arms up and back like you're moving through water here. Keep your low back ribs connected to the mat. Exhale, press back down. Again, float the arms up and back. I'm gonna go ahead and extend my legs out long. You can keep bent knees if you need to. Press the arms back down. Good, and again, reaching the arms long, taking that big stretch, but you should feel like the arms are a little short if you're really plugging your shoulders onto your back. So we can think short arms, long spine, right? One more time like that. Got some weird wardrobe things going on here. Big reach back, short arms, long spine. And then this time we're gonna curl head, neck, and shoulders up, coming into a chest curl. Reaching long, you're curled up right underneath your bra strap, or the man's ear as it may be. And then roll your spine back down, float your arms back up, reach back. Get your back body working here. So my legs are hugging, they're pressing into the mat, and I curl head, neck, and shoulders up again. I'm staying in the longest flexion possible. So again, guys, you can have bent knees here if you need to. I'm working to keep my tail neutral and not curl it up. Roll the head, neck, and shoulders back down. You pick your poison with your legs. Again, we reach super long, connect and curl up. Good, now here I'm gonna have you pump your arms for your hundreds, just the first set of 50. So we breathe in for 5, and out for 5. I'm pressing through my thighs, really getting my back body to connect to the mat. I'm not over crunching to the point where I've come all the way up to my lowest rib. I'm just to my shoulder blades, and my back body is active. Abs scoop like crazy, and then roll head, neck, and shoulders back down. All right, you guys. So we're gonna leave it at that for our pre-Pilates stuff today. Maybe one more thing here, actually. So let's have bent knees. Take your arms straight up to the ceiling, and then extend right arm and left leg out long. So feel all of the four corners of your box of your body, and then use your exhale to bring the hand and the foot towards each other and stretch back out. I like to do this on the foam roller because it really forces you to find your balance internally. Use your exhale to reach the limbs together. Inhale, stretch them apart. Exhale, pull together. Inhale, stretch apart. And it gets your diagonals going across your body. And reach back out. Good. Bend that knee, place the arm down, extend opposite arm and leg. Find the diagonals, hip to shoulder across your body. Exhale, contract. Hand and foot come towards each other and stretch long. Exhale. Inhale, reach. Can you keep your back ribs connected to the mat? Can you keep your shoulders anchored? Can you keep your spine neutral? That's the hardest part. One more. And reach. Good, really nice, you guys. Right, so that's a little bit of pre-Pilates stuff to help get you going. One more thing, let's just pretend we stood up and lowered ourselves to the mat, because that's an important step in doing the mat work. But let's just pretend we did that, okay? A half roll down or an elbow slip is the other thing I like to throw in. So you can sit up tall, tuck your tail under, rock back behind your sits bones, find that C curve in your spine, and then round forward and sit tall. So you should already be pretty aware of your abdominals from doing the marble work. Tuck the tail, rock back, easy neck and shoulders. Exhale, round forward and sit up tall at the top. Again, rock back behind your sit bones, hold. Now to advance this, you could reach the arms out in front of you, lower an inch, lift an inch, add some movement. You could add a twist, right? Without your feet leaving the mat, and round forward, and with no strain in your neck. Your elbow slip is another great option. Okay, coming down onto your forearms, this really helps you find the longest flexion in your spine possible. So forearms are down, push your feet into the mat, scoop and hollow your waist. Reach one hand for the thigh and replace. Reach your other hand for your thigh and replace. Good, ladies. Reach and replace, reach and replace. Now, if you're good with that, stick with it. Otherwise, try both hands and replace. Both hands, reach, press those feet into the mat and replace. This is not an easy thing to do. It looks very benign, but it's difficult. And replace. Good, you guys. And then roll back down with control. Take a stretch. And we're there. So now you're good to go to start your mat work, or that could be it for you. You could use your towel to do a little leg stretching. Use it against your leg to help you get a little stretch if you want to do a little more. But that's it for the pre-Pilates for today.